You ever felt like you're speaking, but nobody's listening? Oh, that'd be awful on a podcast, wouldn't it? I mean, it's like your words echo into this vast empty hall. What if I told you that the secret of being heard, the secret of truly connecting, doesn't start with your voice? Instead, it starts with your ears. Well, in today's episode, we're uncovering a fundamental truth about human interaction, a truth so simple, yet so overlooked. So stay with me, because by the end of this journey, you'll not only be heard, but you'll also learn how to listen in a way that transforms every conversation you have. Welcome. We're going to unravel the secrets of making every word count and every connection meaningful. Let's dive in.
Hey there, audacious parents. Welcome to the Dark Horse Entrepreneur Podcast, where we're not just about surviving, we're about thriving. If you're tuning in, you're not looking for just another feel-good, pat-on-the-back kind of show. No. You're here because you're ready to disrupt the status quo. You're ready because you're here to challenge your limits and to step out of the comfort zone where we know growth never happens. This is not just your average, let's all be happy with our 9-to-5 lives kind of podcast. We're here to give you actionable strategies. We're here to dive deep into the world of side hustles, digital marketing, and smart income-boosting tactics. Why, you may ask? Because we're designed for parents like you, parents juggling family expenses, childcare, and the elusive me time. We're not just about making money, though. We're about designing a life that you dictate, not one that's been prepackaged in a soul-sucking 9-to-5 box. So, if you're ready to break free and design a life that aligns with your dreams, design a life that aligns with your family, you're in the right place. The Dark Horse Entrepreneur Podcast.
What is up? What is up? What the heck is up, my driven entrepreneurs? I want you to imagine for a moment that you're sitting in a movie theater and the lights go down dim. The screen lights up, right? You can hear it in the background if you're as old as I am, the old movie machines. And then there you are on the big silver screen, front and center. You're right in the center of the action. Yeah, my friends, you're the hero. You're the protagonist of this story. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, here's a revelation, ladies and gentlemen. This isn't just a fantasy. You see, in the movie that is our lives, each and every one of us invariably is, the leading character. Every decision, every action, and every thought that you have is centered around that main character, which is ourselves. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. Here's the thing I want you to remember. In the movie of life, every single person out there without an exception, everyone is their own leading character. Understanding this is the first step that you and I are going to have to take to truly connect with everyone. You see, psychologists tell us that this is more than just a metaphor. It's a fundamental aspect of human nature. We view the world through our own lenses, whether they're rose-colored or not. We view our world through our own lenses, through our own experiences, through our own challenges, through our own stumbles, bumbles, falls, face plants, and yes, even our victories.
The Dark Horse Entrepreneur Podcast.
It's how we make sense of the world. It's how we align everything up. It doesn't mean we're self-centered. No, it's just how our brains are wired in order to process this journey called life. So, why is this important when it comes to connecting with others, you may ask? Well, I'm glad you asked. You see, when we understand that the person we're speaking to is also living their own movie, their own dreams, their own fears, their own motivations, well, then our approach to listening to them and speaking to them, engaging with them shifts just a little bit. We start to see our conversations not as monologues, right? Just getting up there and being Jimmy Kimmel or something, but now they become dialogues between, two protagonists, each of which in their own story. But understanding this is just the first step. The real magic starts to happen when we learn how to step into someone else's story. Now, to do that, we have to peel back another layer of our conversation. Have you ever wondered why, even in the most altruistic of moments, you, I, all of us, have still considered the radio station WII-FM Yeah, what's in it for me? Yeah, even in the most altruistic moments, we are still considering what's in it for me. It might sound like a contradiction, but it really is a fundamental part of being a human being. Our actions, more often than not, prioritize our own interests. Let me say it again. Our actions, more often than not, are prioritized by our own interests. Look, this is not being selfish. This is about surviving. It's about navigating in a world in a way that makes sense to us, based on the movie we have been going through, the previous acts in our movie. See, it's not selfishness, it's human nature. We all act to serve our own story first. Now, the reason this is important, because in recognizing this in ourselves, we can transform how we interact. This simple little understanding can be a complete game changer in how you communicate with others. When you recognize that the person sitting across from you, just on the other side of the table right there, or next to you in the car that you're driving right now, is also acting in their own interest, it now creates a common ground. It's like finding a secret passage. I just kind of go through there. Right there. Just finding the secret passage that leads straight to empathy. Suddenly, you're not just talking anymore. Now you're starting to connect on a fundamental level. Now, this doesn't mean you're out there neglecting your own story. No. Rather, you're out there, it becomes about balancing your narrative with theirs. It's acknowledging that their motives, just like yours, are valid and worthy of being understood. This is where true empathy begins. This is where meaningful actions take root. Yeah, see? Understanding our self-serving nature is crucial. But how do we use this knowledge to truly step into someone else's story? Well, let's dig in there, shall we? Let me step back for just a quick second. We've taken a second. We've understood that we are the heroes of our own story and that our actions are often guided by self-interest, almost always. Now comes the crucial part. How do we step out of our narrative and into someone else's?
The Dark Horse Entrepreneur Podcast.
Now, this is where the art of connection truly begins. This is about meeting others, dramatic pause, where they are. Not where you think they are, not where they think they are, not where you want them to be, not where you're going to take them, but meeting others where they are. Yeah, see, because here's the thing. To truly connect, you need to step into their world before you ever invite them into yours. It's about building our story together. And to do that, you need to step into their world first, then invite them into yours to create ours together. Think about it this way. When you start a conversation, try to understand their perspective first. That last word being key. Try to understand their perspective first. Try to understand, what are their challenges? What are their aspirations? What are their pains? What are their pitfalls? What are their big dreams? You see, by doing this, you're not just hearing them, you're not just listening, you're empathizing. And that, my friends, is where genuine connections are forged in the fires of friendship. Heck, even in the fires of being enemies, doing this can build just fervent connections. Now, let me give you a little practical advice here, if you'll allow me. Yes? Okay. The next time you're in a conversation, ask open-ended questions. Yeah, just hey, the stage is yours. Ask the question and just step back and listen more than you speak. Yeah. We have one mouth and 2 ears. Perhaps we should be using them in that ratio. But when you do speak, relate back what they've said to you. Yeah. See, this shows that you're not just standing around there waiting for your turn to talk. No. This shows that using your ears and using your heart to truly get engaged in their story. But here's an important thing I want you to remember. This is not about losing yourself into their narrative, becoming a part of their story or anything else. No. This is about finding a common ground and creating a space where your story and their story can coexist and enrich each other. That, my friends, is where our story is born. And this is the foundation of long-lasting connections. You still have your story. They still have their story. You've just found a way to weave a part, maybe a significant part of them together so you can create our story. It may be a short story. It may be a novella. Who knows?
The Dark Horse Entrepreneur Podcast.
Now we're going to come to my most beloved part of the show that I have labeled Whiskered Wisdom. Can't imagine why I've done that, he says as he plays with his beard. Now here's where I try to distill the essence of today's topic into a single nugget of wisdom that you can come away with and just apply immediately. If you forget everything else that I've mentioned in the past 10 minutes, that's okay. I want you to remember this next bit. Today's Whiskered Wisdom, once again, is as simple as it is profound. Start every conversation with the intent to understand, not to respond. Heck, not even to be understood. This small but powerful shift, it's just a couple of degrees. But what have we talked about shifting a couple of degrees? It might only be 2 degrees, 2 inches in front of you. But when it gets out further down line, and that down line could be in distance or in time, that 2 degrees turns into 20 to 40. It just gets larger. So this small yet powerful shift in your mindset can open so many doors to deeper and far more meaningful connections. Now, here's the thing. Often, we listen to reply. We listen to respond. We listen to interject our thoughts. We listen to pounce on that moment, to jump in and offer our opinions, right? But what if we just listened to understand, listened to empathize, and listened to truly grasp the story that's being told to us? This approach doesn't change the nature of our conversations. It changes the nature of our relationships. You see, by embracing this mindset, you'll find that conversations are going to become far more richer, far more empathetic, and as a result of all that, they'll become far more rewarding. You're not just exchanging words anymore, you're building bridges. You're building bridges of understanding, and it's over those bridges that you're going to find a path to a genuine connection. I hear so many people saying that true connections are so hard to find. And I used to believe that. I only had a handful of what I felt were true connections. But once I started putting into play these tactics that I'm sharing with you in this past 12 minutes, the number of true connections I built grew exponentially. So, as I wanted to drop that little note in there with you as we begin to wrap up our time together. Let's take a second here and quickly revisit the journey we've gone over in the past 12, 13 minutes. We began by understanding that each of us, you, my friend, as you're listening to me right now, and the person sitting next to you, if you're feeling not alone, and myself, each of us are the hero in our own story. We're the hero navigating life through our personal lenses, right? Whether they're rose-colored, blue, yellow, pink, or multicolored, it doesn't matter. The perspective of those lenses is crucial in recognizing why we often act in our own self-interest. It's not selfishness. It's a natural part of our human experience. It's survival. So, in the dance of conversation, be it a tango or a waltz, a cha-cha, or some just rock and roll mosh pit, or some hip hop, sometimes the most powerful step is simply to listen. We dove into the importance of stepping into other people's stories, right? Of meeting people where they are, not where you want them to be, where you think they should be, or where you're going to take them, but by meeting them where they are. By doing so, we take our story, you take your story and their story, and you're able to create our story, which is a shared narrative that enriches both yours and their experiences. It's about balancing our perspectives, understanding each other, and forging genuine connections. I really hope today's episode is giving you some valuable insights into the art of connection, and I encourage you to apply these principles into your daily actions. Starting today, when you get to work or get to wherever you're going right now, or the next time you see the one you love, think about this. Have me in your ear, and hear them. Remember, every conversation is a real opportunity to build a bridge and to create a story together. And hey, if the insights in today's episode struck a chord, I invite you to join the conversation. Seriously, I want to hear your thoughts. Share your story, ask your question, or heck, even offer your insights. Heck, even tell me what episodes, kind of content you want to hear later on. And don't forget to spread the word about our journey that we're going on together here. Rate, review, subscribe, and share this podcast with those that you believe will get benefits from our stories. Together, let's connect our stories and enrich our journey together. Think successfully and take action.
Hey, my Dark Horse entrepreneur parents, thanks for tuning in. If this episode struck a chord, share it with a fellow parent hustler. Let's grow our tribe that thrives, not just survives. For more insights and a community that totally gets it, join our Facebook group at www.darkhorseschooling.com/tribe. Think successfully and take action.